Rev match downshift, easy to do. Freaking great, dude. Oh my gosh. I didn't think I was gonna like this much. Oh man. Crap. Did I just find a new pursuit in life? Hey everybody, it's time to do a little comparison video. These are my friend Drew and the Enthusiast Auto Group. These are their cars, it's not mine. But this is a 92,000 mile USDM, so a US spec E30 M3. And I just spent the better part of the last week and a half dialing in the paint, the glass, the wheels, the tires, and it looks incredible. This color is called Zenobia. That's how you say it. But the car also has a coat of Crystal Serum Light and then a coat of G-Technic Exo version 5. And it looks incredible. I'm just trying to get a little charge on the battery here because it's been sitting. A couple of observation points on this car, having spent a lot of time with it. The glass is the best glass I've ever seen on a car. Really incredible. The single stage paint is really awesome because there's virtually no orange peel, or very little orange peel. This 92,000 mile example sure doesn't look like it. It's a really dialed in car. I drove it a few weeks ago, so we're gonna see if it drives better when it's clean. Just joking. The interior, I did a color lock cleaning, so we got all the shine out of the seats, and then I did a leather protection cream, a leather shield, so the leather's protected for a while. But this is a really clean example of a car from I believe this is a 1989. When you close the doors, it's like I would wager that maybe somebody knows this, but these cars were what, $35,000, $36,000 back in 1987, 88, 89, 90. And I would have wagered that BMW probably spent more than that raw cost in building this car because it's the craftsmanship, the quality of build material is amazing. Now it's 192 horsepower, so let's go for a little drive and then we'll do the same thing with the Sport Evo. All right, let's try this again. Second drive of the base E30, the US E30. Let's get this thing out of here. Got my mirrors all jacked up from detailing it. Cars, we all know the cars always drive better when they're clean. So let's test that theory. Certainly gonna cut through the air at a much higher rate of speed, right? So I'm excited to get a little different, or get the feel for what 192 horsepower E30 feels like versus a 238 horsepower E30 Sport Evo. Let me just get the brakes, make sure the brakes are good because I wiped them off. The first thing, you know, having spent a week and a half, of course I went for the first drive a couple weeks ago, but the first thing I noticed on this car when I drove it was how put together it is. I'd mentioned that when I opened the video that, you know, these cars are just built really well. I mean, my E30, or my E36, which I've really grown to love that car. The build quality difference is pretty remarkable. Just the metal, you know, the fenders, the glass, the interior components. I mean, this is a 7-8 year older car. It's probably designed, you know, a decade prior to the E36. I mean, isn't this the car that kind of launched it all for all of us, right? For all the GT Porsches and the M3s and all the cool stuff that we now have grown accustomed to. This is kind of the car, the originator. Now, I said this in the last video, Man, the glass is so good in this car. I don't know why I'm so enamored by the simplicity of the clarity of the glass. It's just wild. I mean, that's my biggest like of this car. You guys were yelling at me to get higher up in the RPM range, so maybe we'll work on that here in this drive. I think this could do really well with obviously a suspension, a short shifter, maybe an intake exhaust. And I'm just not a stock BMW kind of guy. To me, part of the beauty or the love of M cars for me is the amazing aftermarket support. You have, you know, companies like IND and you have companies like was it EAS out in California, PSI in Orlando. You have all these great BMW tuner shops that make all kinds of, or sell and provide us with all kinds of cool stuff. So, you know, doing a suspension on this car would be amazing. Doing I think you could update or upgrade the steering rack as well, shorten the steering ratio. Although I don't know that I would mess with that. I mean, the hydraulic steering in this feels pretty darn fantastic. Let's just get the car up to temp before we do anything stupid. Turn this. And just got the vent on. Let's see if the air conditioning works. You know, 190 horsepower. I'm sure that you remember back in the day, those of you who are, you know, around my age, you know, you had your Civic or you had your 140 horsepower, whatever car you had. We had to deal with the fact that if you turn the air conditioning on, you could feel like a power loss. I'm sure that we'd feel that on this as well. But you have the old slide style. But man, I'm telling you, this car, I just can't, you know, I'm very particular, as you all know. I'm freaking obsessed. This particular one, like, I'm hard pressed that, you know, if I wanted an E30, I've thought about it. With this on the lift, with the wheels off, and you see the freaking wide body, the fenders, it's pretty freaking cool, man. So we're just going to do a short out and back so I don't make this video 45 minutes long, because I do want to bring the Sport Evo and compare. This thing is cool. It just, you know, it takes some time when you know, especially it's a bit overwhelming when I went for a drive for the first time. The car, you know, is well sorted. I know it's sorted mechanically, but, you know, I'm taking my friends' cars that aren't mine and going out and driving down the road. And it's just a bit overwhelming, especially when you have two of them. I didn't think about that one. You know, this single stage paint, you know, polishing and stuff was pretty straightforward. Just dirtier, messier. But now we have this awesome, almost orange peel-less look. It's great. Oh, nice. Get out of my way. Sweet. I would suspect this red, you know, this car would garner a whole lot of attention. Yeah, the steering feels good. Suspension is actually pretty remarkably compliant, and, you know, being 20. Let's see, we're coming up on 40 years old, 35 years old. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if I sat around, you got to kind of keep the revs up, like most, you know, naturally aspirated. But this is what you call a momentum car. What are these, 2,600 pounds? It's gonna be interesting to see, you know, another 50 horsepower on the Evo. I'm excited to see what that feels like. The seats are pretty good. The bolsters on the hips are in a decent spot. 60 miles an hour feels a lot faster in this. Yeah, man, if you had some brakes and suspension, man, this thing would feel freaking crazy. So let's say that I'm rich and famous. Forget the famous, just rich. That's what I always ask myself, is that, you know, if I had infinite resources and I had a lot of space, you know, a lot of garage space, would I go for something like this? I mean, obviously the thing to do, like those of you who have these cars, you are smart or lucky or just happen to have one, right timing. I mean, you probably could have bought this car for what, 20 grand at one point, you know, say 15 years ago. And you just have it sitting in the garage. You go out and drive it around occasionally, maintain it, just keep the battery charged and the fluids changed. Man, the steering wheel feels so much better since I cleaned up the leather. But now, and you know, a couple of people are giving me a hard time about, you know, well, E30, it's not a $100,000 car. I think they thought it was mine and I was bragging or something. You know, this isn't my car, and I'm just telling you what their list price is $100 grand. You got to bring a trailer. Now you can buy an E30, you know, a beat up one, 180, 200,000 miles, or ones that, like this, I'm telling you, is like uniquely sorted. Like this car is beautiful. Now it's got some patina. Got some rock chips and things like that, but nothing you wouldn't expect on a car with 90,000 miles on it. But do I want one of these bad enough to spend 100 G's or 100? I would want one even better than this one, lower miles. I don't know. But this second drive, I'm liking it more. Again, in my current place in life, this car is not for me. But would I want to have one just for the nostalgia of it? Have it, drive it once a month or something like that. I think it would be more of a just have it to, I don't know, have it in the garage because it looks so cool. You put some better wheels on it. And the brakes aren't as bad as I didn't give them enough credit. Yeah, an intake, a chip, right? Chip it. Brakes, suspension, exhaust, wheels, tires. It'd be pretty freaking cool. It's definitely driving better now that it's clean. It certainly looks cool rolling down the road. I didn't want to go into second there. But it's, you know, it'd be kind of fun to give it all the business, you know, and I'm not going breakneck speeds. Especially if you know, that's what I love about my E36 is that best aftermarket, the biggest delta of a suspension upgrade I've ever done. I have Olin's TTX made by my friend Barry at 3DM Motorsports, and the brakes, you know, having big brakes means that you can really rip into the car and then actually stop. Yeah, there's a little bit of like 33,000 grunt, a little bit of torque. Kind of roll into it. But man, I couldn't even imagine having, like, when I was like 17 back in 90, you know, so I was born 1980. So could you imagine having something like this car? Like, if you were some rich kid, you know, and you had one of these, how freaking cool that would be. My son's 13. I wonder what kind of car he's not going to get whatever he wants, but I wonder what he would want. Is he going to want a Tesla? I'm inclined to get him something like a WRX hatch or something. Getting a car, like, let's say I got like a E30 325 or something like that for him, you know, they're just not as safe. Yeah, it's cool, man. I like it better the second drive. I think this would grow on me. But I'm telling you, I'm driving down the road here and not a rattle. It's wild. And then closing, I had this every single time I close the door on my E36. You know, I close it like I would close every other door I have. It never closes because it's so much heavier. It's so much more stout. Same thing with these doors. Like, trying to close the door is a different pressure, different amount of force required to close it. So I'm sorry I'm not going out and ripping these things like I would if it were my own. I mean, this is an expensive endeavor here. But I definitely like it more on the second drive. The first to second gear transition is real gatey, real notchy. The second to third is smooth as silk. Yeah, the brakes aren't too bad. After having seen them, you know, it's a decent sized cross-drilled rotor, decent single piston caliper. This looks like a single. All right, so the next car is a 22,000 kilometer, from what I can tell, all original E30 Sport Evo. So this is a European car. I have not detailed this yet, so you can probably see some swirls and scratches in the paint, but it's in really, really good condition. There's a couple of water spots in the front there we'll have to deal with. I'm actually going to start detailing this here today. I'm going to do the decontamination step. But this is 238 horsepower, has a more aggressive front lip, has the adjustable rear wing, has 16-inch wheels instead of 15s. There's some Dunlop Reses on this car. This was imported by EAG. I'm not sure when, but came over from Europe. And then this has, I believe it's the M-Rain interior. It also has this really nifty security system. I'll show you what you have to do. It has the, I guess it's called a dog box. So it has the reverses up to the left and first is down to the left, which is odd. I do have to do some work to the steering wheel. And then there you can see 22,760 kilometers. Now this is EAG's price on this is $299,990, something like that. So 300 G's for this car. And we're gonna go take this for a spin. Now this is a much more expensive thing to do. So you take this little, it's got this little alarm thingy here. You do that to start it. Engine certainly sounds different. It's so weird going from first to second. So this is 238 horsepower. I don't know what the torque spec is. I can already feel the car feels completely different. Oh my gosh. This feels more E36 like. Got some work to do to this Alcantara. I don't know if this might be too far gone. I'm gonna sand it and see if we can fix it. Oh, that's right. There is no AC in this car. The other interesting thing is that it has a single wiper blade. Man, it is night and day. Holy crap. 50 horsepower at 2,600 pounds is a freaking crap load of difference. Holy crap. I can already tell I like this thing. Seating position's not terrible. I mean, I'm sitting a little tall. I have the seat a little bit reclined. This, obviously, cloth interior. You got to get it up to temp first. So maybe, you know, some in the comments. So this is still an S14, but it's a, how are they getting that additional horsepower? Is it, you know, different bore stroke, cams, individual throttle bodies? I'm sure you Europeans know. And we didn't have access to this car. And again, this car is a little before my time. This is a 1990. This is so much different. Let's get it up to temp first. And this is a 6-speed. Steering feels the same. Maybe I should have done my homework before I drove the thing. That's not what I do. I'm not a car reviewer. I'm just sharing with you my experience. The wing on the back looks freaking cool. Red line's the same. Gauges are beautiful on these cars. Man, what a dump. Just carrying so much more speed without even trying. Can't wait to see what this thing this is cool. It figures. There goes, if I'm getting the E30, I want a Sport Evo. Yeah. Oh, that's right, it's kilometers. I'm not going 100, I'm going 80 or 60. Yeah, buddy, this thing is freaking sweet. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit speechless on how different this car is, it feels. The base car, the US car, feels more like just a cruiser. You know, just a fun cruiser, a good-looking cruiser. This feels like a sports car. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm freaking cheesing here. This thing is cool. Holy crap. Maybe I'm keeping this car. 300 G's. Maybe I can get it for 290. Oh my word. It just feels so good. So planted. Rev happy. It's happy sitting at, 5,000-6,000 RPMs. Beautiful. A pretty bumpy road. Put an aftermarket suspension on. Actually, I think this has, that's right, this car does have, I think, Koni adjustables on it. So that's cheating a little bit. This thing is sweet. Gotta get this thing off the road before I want it. Little second gear pull here. Throttle response is in a completely different league. I could see why people would take and put an S54 in an E30. It's just a cool chassis. I'm telling you, that wing out back just looks freaking sweet. Yeah, I've already got the first gear down, makes sense. I just have this habit, and I've always done this to align the synchros, I guess. My friend's dad always told me that's what you do, but I would always go second to first. So as I'm coming up to a stoplight, if let's say I was in third gear and I didn't downshift into second, I would go second, clutch in, second, and then into first. And it's always smoother engagement in pretty much any car. This is freaking sick, dude. Holy crap. But see, I've never been a huge fan of, I'm sure if you spend enough money you can make it feel right, but doing swaps and superchargers and turbos, it never quite feels right. That's why I'm a little nervous about messing with my Evo, because the car just feels appropriate. I've even thought about it. Maybe I should just tune my Evo, just get it tuned with a stock turbo and just freaking leave it alone. You know, doing an engine swap on a car like this, you certainly wouldn't do it on this car, but to me it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It just doesn't, it never feels quite right. It's cool, the Euro gauge has the gas in liters. Does that make sense? Yeah, this just makes me want to rip. This would be a heck of a lot of fun in the mountains. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I'm feeling on the corners and stuff is the aftermarket suspension too. It's just less roll, less bouncy. And then I'm cruising in third gear here. It's just rev happy. If you got 300 G's laying around, you should buy this sucker. Oh yeah. Super easy to drive. Rev match downshift easy to do. Freaking great, dude. Oh my gosh. I didn't think I was gonna like this much. Oh man. Crap. Did I just find a new pursuit in life? Little tap. Listen to that engine. It just wants to be here. 5,000 RPM. If I get pulled over, it'd be worth it. Yeah, people, this is good. I'm surprised. I thought I'd be like, yeah, cool. $200,000 more, no. Completely different experience. Drew was 100% right. Pure BMW motorsport purist. Like, I get it. Totally get it. I still wouldn't leave it stock, but I wouldn't have to do much. This makes the other car feel like a piece of junk. Love it. Look at this thing. Freaking sick. Just makes me want to drive like a moron. Wow. That's all I have to say. Incredible. You don't hear me say this much in cars I drive, but well, now it's time to now I'm gonna really like polishing this thing. I think I might wax this car. All right, so if you haven't checked out the E30 series, me doing the detail on the on the US E30. Check that out. And then make sure to check out the series on this car. I'm sure we'll do some videos on this. Same process. Got to try to fix the steering wheel if I can. This is Alcantara and it's destroyed. So believe it or not, use sand Alcantara. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for taking my first Sport Evo experience with me. It's cool. See ya. Thanks for watching.